We are greatly honored by his presence and appreciate deeply his interest in our centenary celebrations. There is, however, yet another reason why we wish the Prime Minister to be with us on this occasion. In its origin, this fortress is a reminder of the suspicions and hatreds which once marked the relations between Canada and the United States. Happily for both countries, that earlier feeling of suspicion and distrust has been replaced by a spirit of friendship and goodwill. Fort Henry is restored today, not to repel the attack of an invader, but as a military museum and a place of recreation for our people. It is most fitting that it should receive its new character as an historic site and park from one who has been an architect of international goodwill, who wrote his long life of public service. I have great pleasure in introducing to you the Prime Minister of Canada, Right Honorable W.L. Mackenzie King.
Mr. Chairman, Rogers, Campbell, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud indeed to have the privilege of bringing to the citizens of Kingston, from my colleagues and myself in the Government of Canada, the hearty congratulations of the people of Canada through their government upon the celebration this year of the 100th anniversary of this city's incorporation as a city. It is a great pleasure indeed to be associated on this historic occasion with two, I should perhaps say three, such old and intimate personal friends as the chairman of the day, my colleague, Mr. Rogers, in the Government of Canada, and the Honourable Minister of Public Works, close friend and colleague, formerly in the House of Commons, now in the Provincial House, and to be able to share with them this interesting ceremony this afternoon. I said, ladies and gentlemen, that I should like to congratulate the citizens of Kingston upon the celebration of 100 years of the city's existence. But I prefer more particularly to congratulate them upon the place which this city has held in the national life of Canada, not only throughout those 100 years, but one might also almost say throughout the whole history of the Dominion of Canada itself. For the history of this city epitomizes in a way the story of the development of Canada. I need not tell its citizens that you are proud to boast that very shortly after Champlain came to the old city of Quebec and there founded our great Dominion, that he visited what is now the site of the city of Kingston, that he came to Cataraqui, and that his name stands associated with the past of the place in which we are now assembled. I need not remind you also of the part which was played by that great governor of France, Count Frontenac, because he has left his name and his memory here in the name of the county in which the city of Kingston is situated. And you have other memories here of the great French regime, of the brave explorers of those days, in such names as that of La Salle, one of the bravest men that this world has ever known. It is a great source of pride and delight to all of us, I'm sure, in this province of Ontario, to feel that in the background of our country's history, we have this intimate association with our friends of the old province of Quebec. But it must be a source of particular pride to the citizens of this city to recall that while Quebec was a center of settlement at the outset, this city of Kingston was one of the great centers of military control of this part of Canada, was more than a mere trading post, that in a way it marked the strongest point of development in the military and civil life of that day. As we run over the history of this city, we seem, as I have indicated, to run over the history of our country. I have indicated the part which relates to the years during which Canada was under the French regime. But we recall as we are here today, how at the time of the great conflict, 1756 to 63, when this country passed from under the control of France to under the British Crown, that this city too had its experiences at that great period of transition in our history. But General Bradstreet took over this, what was then an old fort of Frontenac, from the French to the British. I am going to speak, ladies and gentlemen, a little later of the extraordinary significance of the history of this country as a country which has been a land of reconciliation. And if for the moment I emphasize these points of difference that there have been in the past, it is only that we may all the better today appreciate the unity which we now enjoy and which has grown out of the coming together of different races, of different classes, of different creeds into the one great dominion as we know it today. And so I make this reference to the taking of this fort from the hands of one great people and transferring it into the hands of another during that period when Canada itself passed from the control of one great power to the control of another. That, however, is not the only conflict with which the history of this great city is associated. We have been reminded in the addresses which have been made this afternoon of some of the events of the period of 1812 and 1814. But before we come to that, we cannot but recall that the association of Kingston has been not only with military and naval exploits, but very largely with the political development of Canada itself. It was here, after the Constitutional Act was passed in 1791, that Governor Simcoe, the first governor to take control of Canadian affairs at that time, for this, what was then to be the new province of Upper Canada, took his oath of office. It was here, therefore, that the beginning of the government, civil government of Upper Canada, took place at that early time. And we are reminded later on of the further part which Kingston played in the political life of our country.